Okay, we are back in our series that we're bringing to you about all of our endorsed candidates for College Station City Council. We now have Jason Cornelius with us. He is our endorsed candidate. And Jason, we wanted to use this time as an opportunity for our members to get to know you. So thank you for sitting down with us today. I know you really well, but I know that there are a lot of people who don't. And I know that you have a heart for this community and you're extremely active with several local nonprofit boards. How in the world and where do you find the strength to pour yourself into so many different things? And, what is driving your desire to serve the Brazos Valley?
Oh, well, first off, thank y'all for having me on here. It's an honor to both be endorsed, but to be able to continue to talk to as many members of the city and the community as I can. I would say that my strength, but also my desire to serve, comes from a place of wanting our city and our community to be as safe and prosperous as I can. I tell people all the time, I learned that from my dad. He saw some needs in the community and was one of the founding members and former president of the Concerned Black Men of the Brazos Valley, which served a lot of needs in our community. I, being a small business and consumer lender, was wanting to connect with small businesses in the community. So I joined the chamber and became a volunteer with them, and now a member of the board. Some friends and and at the time I was a young professional myself, saw that was a very undervalued and underrepresented demographic in the community. So we formed the Young Professionals of Aggieland to really help connect those young professionals to our community, hopefully get some of them to stay here in town after they graduate. Working with law enforcement was also something that was very, very important with me, to be able to be that bridge between law enforcement and the community that they serve. And I've been telling people this story, but it also kind of captures everything for me when it comes to why I want to do so much for our community. So some of y'all may know I did the One Community Forum back in June that brought our law enforcement and community leaders together, and we had that forum, and it was broadcast throughout the community. The night before that event, the dishwasher at my house broke. And so we were getting one delivered the next day, but my wife at the time told me, she's like, make sure you clear everything out and so we can get that delivered with no problem. And being me and having a lot going on, I forgot. And so as I'm driving to the Brazos Center the next day, she gives me a call and she's like, hey, they're here. You didn't clean everything out. Now, being as good as she did, she got everything taken care of. And we got the situation settled as I'm pulling into the Brazos Center. And obviously I apologize. But as I'm walking in, we're still on the phone, she jokes with me and says, hey, I know you're trying to save the world, but while you're doing that, you still have stuff at home to take care of. And we laugh, and I joke back with her. And I'm like, I get it. There's a lot going on, but I'm not trying to save the world. The world is too big. I'm just trying to make our community be as safe as I can for our family. And so that's where all of this is coming from for me, being able to hopefully put all of the different organizations that I'm a part of kind of together. And then so this is kind of an opportunity for me to hopefully drive that by running for council this year.
That's awesome. So, you've got a lot of experiences. So you've got, volunteer experience, community-based experience from, sounds like a child all the way up through now as an adult and a father and a husband. And your unique experiences in a lot of ways are kind of the opposite a little bit of some of our current city council members. So, unlike your opponent, you've spent the majority of your professional life in the private sector working as a small business and consumer lender, like you had mentioned. How do you think your experience working in the private sector shapes your outlook on realtor issues, industry issues, and kind of more specifically connected to private property rights and what individual property owners can and can't do with their properties? How is that different from your opponent?
Well, I think, again, my experience, especially in lending, I've been able to work with consumers and businesses through almost every phase of their life cycle, especially for some of our young professionals as they're getting ready and preparing to make those large purchases as far as home ownership and things like that. Actually, and I'm not a mortgage lender, but working with them when they're getting ready to make that actual purchase, and then also working with people in the later stages when they're actually at a level to where they can start buying investment property. And so I've seen all stages of that, and so I have that experience and that mindset when I'm working with that, where I think I see the difference in myself and a little bit of not just my opponent, but with the thought process of where I'm seeing current council is wanting to have that still sense of strategic growth when it comes to the city of College Station, and not getting left behind, not wanting a free-for-all, but I think that we have an opportunity to continue to have growth when it comes to the housing market. And we're seeing our sister communities, Bryan, Navasota, Snook, that are not only catching up to the city of College Station, but actually start getting ready to surpass us. And so I understand that we want to have that strong strategic growth to make sure that we're continuing forward. One of the things that I learned the other day was that for the first time in years, the College Station Independent School District had a decline in numbers for enrollment this year. And that's because we don't have people that are wanting to continue to move to or continue to live in College Station, and that's an issue. And I think that's going to speak directly at the heart of realtors that are trying to get people to be in homes.
Yeah, so the strategic growth, that's obviously important for us as realtors, but it's important for the community as a whole. And we really appreciate your focus on that strategic growth. To Amy's point, we really haven't seen too much focus on that strategic aspect on the current council. So we appreciate that. And we just, for our members, our individual members, why should our realtor members support your candidacy?
Well, and again, I appreciate y'all's time, and I appreciate the endorsement already, but I think that being from the city of College Station, I've grown up here since I was 9. I do know the history of this town and this community, but I think, again, for me, and I've mentioned it a couple of times, that's where trying to continue that focus on going forward, recovering from where we are now with COVID, but also still looking to the future and making sure that we have a plan for what we're going to continue to do. Again, those things that go together with looking for that strategic growth, and not having a free-for-all when it comes to things, but I can't see us wanting to continue to be stagnant. So I think that's where the Realtors Association and all of your members would be able to see that from me, is that is my plan and that is my goal, is to continue to have College Station be a leader and in the forefront of what this community in this area can do.
Awesome. We love that.
Absolutely. Jason, thank you for your time today.
Mm-hmm. No, again, thank y'all so much. I'm very humbled by the endorsement, and I appreciate everything that y'all have been able to do so far. And again, for all your members, early voting starts here in a week, and then Election Day is November 3rd. So please make sure that you're getting out and voting.
Absolutely.
All right. We'll talk soon.
All right. Thank y'all very much.
All right, thanks, Jason.
Mm-hmm.